Hello everyone, hope you are doing very well. In our previous lecture, we have studied about how to apply phone attribute in the field in custom module for Odoo 19. In today's lecture, we will be studying about transient model and what is its use case. So today's lecture is a little bit of theoretical portion, and in the next lecture we will use this lecture as a base for the practical purpose. So in today's lecture, we will be studying transient model. Now, what is a transient model? Before that, I just want to clarify. In Odoo, there are mainly three types of model. One, a basic model, which we mostly used in our models. When we go to the code, see, you can see this is models.model. It is our basic model. Other than that, there are two other models which are used in Odoo. One is transient model and other is the abstract model. So in today's lecture, we will be studying about what exactly the transient model do and why do we need a transient model. So in simple words, transient model is a type of model which is used to store a temporary data. What I mean to say is there may be need when you don't want to store any of the data in the model because it is unnecessary data. For example, if you want to print any of the report and you want to show the date range from first date to 5 date, you don't want to store that particular date range every time because it is unnecessary and it will be changed according to the day. So in that case, transient model came into play. What it will do, it will keep the value stored for a couple of hours and then automatically remove from the DB. And how would you know to remove this? Because first, it must be a transient model, and second, it has a cron job which will automatically remove the value. Now, in practical purpose, let me show you what the transient model is and in Odoo where it is used. So, when I go to the browser, I have already opened a product form view here. And when I click here, settings and in print label, you see a pop-up is shown, which is basically known as wizard in Odoo. So in this wizard, you can see there are various fields. So this is particular pop-up is made of transient model. Why transient model? Because every time this pop-up will open and this value will be different. And you don't want to store this particular 1 copy, 2 copy, 3 copy or whatsoever values every time you print. So in that case, transient model is used and it is known as wizard, which we will be covering in the next lecture. Now just I'll click on print and it will print the value. Similarly, when I click on again and change any of the value and click on print, it's getting printed and two values shown. So in this purpose and this particular cases, you don't need to store the values. So in that case, you need a transient model. And in another case, you need transient model is in the settings. When you go to the Odoo settings, there are various fields which are shown here. These fields are also made of transient model known as ris.config.settings. So in when you need to create a settings for your model or particular module, you will mostly using a transient model inheriting ris.config.settings, which we will be covering on the further lectures. But for today, remember what is transient model? It is a model which used to store the temporary data and it will remove these values using the cron job. Secondly, where the transient model is used, the transient model in Odoo mostly used in wizard and in the settings. Also, one more example I want to show you. When you go to here in the sales order, and if you create the invoice, click on this button, you see this particular pop-up, and it has various options. This particular pop-up is also a transient model, because we don't need to save every time invoice is created. We don't need to save this particular value for it. So that's pretty much it for today. All I wanted to show you is what exactly a transient model is and why do we need transient model in Odoo 19. In the next lecture, we will be covering about what is wizard, and especially for wizard, I have used today's lecture as a base for transient model so that in the next lecture you feel comfortable and understood why we are using transient model instead of basic model. I hope today's lecture had been understood by you. If there are any doubts, please let me know in the comment section. Till then, thanks for watching.